Well, hello and welcome to Immortal Behaviour for this week. And if you are enjoying the show, make sure you go on and subscribe to the NRL on 9 YouTube channel. Joey, what a time of year this is.
Sounds really simple.
It does. Have you subscribed yet?
I haven't got a computer. I still enjoy living in the dark ages.
Yeah. How exciting this week's State of Origin.
Sort of crept up on us. It's exciting. I could imagine Townsville and North Queensland is just absolutely booming up there. It's a great time of year. As long as we win, it's even better.
We can't wait to get up there. All right, well, let's talk about milking to start with. It's been a bit of a hot topic. Do you think it's the worst it's ever been in the competition at the moment?
Yep. It's embarrassing. It's absolutely embarrassing. It's embarrassing. That's all I can say. It's embarrassing to the game. What the game's built on. The game's been around for 113 years. Game's been built on toughness. We celebrate John Sattler years ago, playing a grand final with a broken jaw. We celebrate Sam Burgess. Broke his cheekbone the first minute, first hit up of the game. They won the grand final. We've got blokes laying down pretending to be hurt, and then they get the penalty and they stand up and they start smiling. And look, I don't blame the players.
Because they're just exploiting.
They're just exploiting it. Doesn't matter what they do, they're exploiting it. So.
How bad do you think it will be to see if this happens in Origin?
I just pray it doesn't happen. It just, for our showpiece, and you got your hardcore fans watching, you probably got, 50-60% hardcore fans watching, and then the other are just, I don't know whether you'd call them interested bystanders watching or fair weather supporters. Imagine that, we talk up rugby league being the toughest game in the world. Imagine if blokes are laying down when they been hit with a feather. Oh, it's just makes me want to just curl up and just have a little cry, maybe.
What would you have done if you were, when you were playing Origin, if one of your teammates was down milking it? Would you have said anything?
Before we went in, I'd say to them, just no one do that. It's against the fabric of the game. It's against what we stand for. As a team and as a state, don't you dare do it. I understand if you get clipped and you get whacked, but if you get a little love tap on the face and you lay down like a dog, don't you dare do it.
Well, Queensland captain Daly Cherry Evans has come out asking for a gentleman's agreement. Do you think that would work?
Gentleman's agreement.
Gentleman's agreement.
We're going in. What we try to have analogies between war of what's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's the closest thing to civil war in this country's ever had. Queensland, New South Wales Origin, and you're talking about a gentleman's agreement.
Can't see it happening.
So much absolute rubbish.
Well, what should the NRL do going forward, not just for Origin, but going forward to make sure that they can't be milking and they can't be exploiting that in the game?
Well, they've made the bed now. They've made the decision to go this way. They're going to look silly and probably look weak if they go back on it. So they've made their bed. They've got to lie in it now. I just pray that it doesn't happen, and I just hope that the players decide who wins the game. It's not the bunker who comes in and imposes itself on the game right at the end, the last 15, 20 minutes, 10 minutes of the game, and they impose themselves for a lazy, soft hit around the chops, and they decide who wins. Imagine if it happens, Queensland gets beat with one of those up there, they'll burn the stadium down, and so they should, even though it's new. Do it responsibly.
Well, let's hope that we're out of there by then. All right. Well, let's talk about the Parramatta Eels and in particular Blake Ferguson. We saw him playing for reserve grade up in Newcastle on the weekend. Bit strange because usually this time of year he's in Origin camp.
I think they were talking about him in Origin, but against South Sydney defensively he was really poor, Fergo. So he's obviously been sent back to reserve grade to work on his game. I watched him closely on the weekend. He actually played well, played really strong, which is a good sign. He didn't throw the toys out of the cot. And it's not only Fergo on notice, it's every player. It doesn't matter how big a player you are. Brad Arthur said, if you're not performing and doing what I expect from you, then I'm going to drop you. And the young guy that went in, Hayes Dunster, he went really well. So puts Fergo on notice.
Well, do you think that that's the Parramatta Eels looking towards the future?
No, I just think it's Brad shaking him up. Just not acceptable. That, as I said, defensively there was some reads which Fergo got wrong against South, and it's been happening bits and pieces during the year. He changed Tom Opacek, who's a good defender, to go the other side, and they still look vulnerable. So it's just to put Fergo on notice to say, mate, you got to work on your game.
What, at this stage, what would you pay for Blake Ferguson per season?
Well, he's like, when he's on, he's like an extra front rower. He gets the sets rolling forward. This stage of his career, you'd be looking at, I don't know how they manage the salary cap, but he'd be a 350,000 player, 400. I think he's still got a couple of years to go. And when he's right, he's the most damaging winger coming out of trouble there is. As long as he's got his SH, in order.
All right, well, let's move on to talk about Curtis Scott. He's been stood down from the Raiders at the moment after a nightclub incident over the weekend. What advice would you give to Curtis at this point in his career?
Drink at home.
Would you
Drink at mate's place.
we've seen other players who have gone on complete booze bans. Would you suggest maybe that's the way to go?
It's up to Curtis. If he feels like he needs to stop drinking altogether, then that's up to Curtis. Look, he's a grown man. He's just, and there's all those cliches. You got to learn from your mistakes, all that sort of stuff. But if you have a beer, just have a beer at home or have a beer at your mate's place. It's just, you go out now, everyone's got phones, and people can have a shot at you and this sort of thing. And obviously with alcohol, he can react. So I don't know what's happened. I haven't even seen the footage, so I don't know what's happened. But my recommendation to Curtis, if he's going to have a drink and get on it, stay at home or stay at a mate's place where you feel like you're safe and nothing's going to get out. Just going to have fun.
Would a booze ban have ever worked for you in your playing career?
I used to have big extended times.
Was that leading into finals?
Leading into finals, during off-season, during Origin time. I think it was this one series I didn't have a drink at all.
An entire Origin series?
Yeah. Not after the third game. But no, I used to have periods through the season where...
How long would you... 2 months?
It depends. Sometimes it'd go, 2-3 weeks, a month. Or during that Origin period, it was a month and a half.
How good did the body feel? Did you notice it, or...?
You're just clearer.
Yeah.
You're clearer, and then Mondays you haven't got that paranoia where you're like, hang on, did I get it? It's not good, Well, you've been there. Everyone's been there. Come on, Dad. There's times you're in Vegas. Although what happens in Vegas?
It stays there.
Yeah, the paranoia. And look, physically, for your body, the recovery when you're not drinking, because when you're on the tear,
yeah,
you're eating rubbish. You're not getting your sleep.
You're not getting up. You're not. Yeah.
But
everything feels sore because you're not recovering.
Yeah.
All that.
You're talking to the wrong person.
But there are two sort of different types of people and sort of two different types of players where if you ban yourself from something, then at the very end, you're going to go absolutely hell for leather.
But then you're also putting yourself on notice. So if he's going to do it, Curtis, look, I've met Curtis a few times. I find him a really good young guy. Obviously, he has had some dramas on the booze. So I'm saying, maybe have some time off it, but if you're going to have a drink, just have it at home or have it at your mate's place. These guys in their early 20s. That's a hard thing for me when I was that age. I was being told what I got to do and how I got to behave. It was just like, mate, the person who told me how to behave, he's not wired up the same as me. All my mates are going out having a good time just because I play footy well. Doesn't mean I have to be different.
Yeah, because you don't want to miss out on, your
tough
mates who are not playing footy. All right, Shaun Johnson to the Rabbits. This is a rumour that's... keeps on circling. Would you like to see him go to the Bunnies?
Well, I'd like to see Adam Reynolds staying there. But I think Shaun Johnson, even though he's coming off an Achilles injury, I think he's still got a couple of really good years in front of him. Last year he was right up there in the Dally M before he got injured. Surprised me that Cronulla let him go, but obviously Craig Fitzgibbon has got a plan there. But he'd be a really good signing for South, definitely. But Adam Reynolds should be there.
Well, how do you think that will go down? How do you think that will go down with Souths fans, knowing that they've gotten rid of Adam Reynolds, who is, in that 30-plus point of his career, to then sign Shaun Johnson, who's similar age?
Well, it must be a price tag thing. If they're winning, I don't think they'll be jumping up and down too much. But I've made my thoughts clear on this one. Adam Reynolds should be a one-team player. But I think they pick up Shaun. I think he'd be a handy pickup.
And it could be at a discounted rate if he's told from his current club that he's not wanted.
But I think Shaun, he's still got 2 or 3 really good years still in him.
Well, we can't wait to see that. All right, Origin. We're very excited about this. Who do you predict to be your X factor?
Well, for them, Munster. Munster terrifies me. Anyone,
Even with the foot injury?
Well, last year he got the player of the series and he played hungover the whole series. So he's an out-and-out rock star. The bigger the occasion, the bigger the crowd, the more pressure, the better he goes. He just wants the ball in his hands.
Do you feel like there's a bit of you and Cameron Munster? You're very similar
don't want to comment on that. Not these days, definitely. And people are going to say he's been out for 4 or 5 weeks. I see that as an advantage for Cameron. He goes in physically and also mentally really fresh. So he's the X factor for Queensland. And for the New South Wales, I think it's Tedesco. Tedesco and Turbo, when they're working together. We saw in Perth a few times when they played together and Turbo was roving around the field. So I'd say Tedesco and then / Turbo.
Man of the match? Who are you thinking?
Tedesco.
Tedesco?
Yeah, I think he'll have a big go. Look, it's a fast surface up there, and there's no dew on the surface, and it's like a bowling green, this ground. Balmy night. I think to win this game, you're going to have to score upwards of 20 to 24 points. So I think it's going to be high scoring, a lot of ball movement, which then suits Tedesco. So that's why I'm saying him.
What do you think the headline out of game 1 is going to be?
Let me think. Blues slaughter cane toads in North Queensland. Rum sales through the roof. Bundy rum price.
Are you still going to shout everyone at the Mad Cow? And
I won't
drink
be going to the Mad Cow.
If New South Wales wins?
I'll be getting a few shandies and just going back to my hotel room.
Shandies.
Yeah. I'm thinking about. I'm going to take a raincoat up, a poncho, and an umbrella to sit in the sideline. Please be kind. Don't be throwing. Don't throw 4X on me or even rum.
And also very exciting as well. The Beanies, they're on sale at the moment.
Yeah, I got mine on the weekend.
Yep.
Got it for the family.
Purchase them. Goes to brain cancer. Beanies for brain cancer round coming up, and they're cool looking beanies.
We had a night Saturday night to celebrate the 20-year anniversary from the 2001 Grand Final, and the big charity arm was at the Mark Hughes Foundation. It was amazing how much people dip into their pocket. It's so good. Adam McDougall, actually, my old teammate from the Man Shake, he has donated over 500,000 to the Mark Hughes Foundation.
Oh, that's amazing.
He's just, what a legend. Everyone's right behind the Mark Hughes Foundation. Look, he wants to find a cure for brain cancer. Met a guy last week, actually, a Channel 9 employee, who's going through some dramas with brain cancer. So Mark Hughes, loved in Newcastle and the Hunter Valley as a player, but he's loved all over Australia now for what he's doing in the Mark Hughes Foundation. So get behind it. Pretty cool too.
Yeah,
they change every year. I like
and they're really good quality as well. Now, you were up in Newcastle for the weekend.
Yeah.
This is a show that goes on YouTube, so there's not really a rating. What's the best story out of the weekend?
Watching the roller coaster of Ben Kennedy from afar. I got up there a bit late on the Friday. They had an informal lunch, just the players and the staff. So I didn't get to Newcastle till 3. They started the lunch at about 10:30.
That's an early start.
I walked into this place called the Newcastle Club, and I was about probably 2 doors over from where they were, and I could hear Ben Kennedy belly laughing. Oh, this isn't going to be pretty. And then it is just so good to see some of my teammates. You know, some of them we keep in contact and really close, but a couple others have drifted away and live elsewhere. But to get everyone back, and then looking at the team, it was just an incredible team. The mix of, you had superstars, and then you had the creative players, you had the athletes. Some of Adam McDougall, Darren Albert, but Tamana Tahus, they had the highlights. He looked like he was in a different speed. It was just incredible. And then you had your hardcore workers, the unselfish blokes who just went out each week, did their job, didn't get any praise for it, but just loved it. It was just such a great weekend.
How was
then
how
we
was
got
the
to
head
the-
on Saturday?
Not good Saturday. No. But then Saturday night we had the gala night. I actually took it really easy because I had the game on Sunday. And it was a shame. 23,500 was like a sellout for COVID, and then they just get rolled. It was disappointing.
Well, we weren't really expecting that when they had all the old boys when the team was running out. I thought we were going to see a really tight game,
Well,
but
they're
it wasn't the way.
obviously missing some real class players, in particular Pearce and Ponga. And
Frizzell
three of their guys in the pack, Frizzell, Clemmer and Daniel Safidi. But the club was built on, the pillars the club was built on when they started, were three things. You had to be tough, you had to be able to tackle, you had plenty of tomorrows, whatever that means, tomorrows. But tough and tackle. You don't need class to do that. That's an attitude thing. And I thought Para, they won, 40-4? I thought they left 3 or 4 tries out there, so it could have been a massacre. Anyway, moving forward.
We move on. All right, and don't forget, get closer to the action of this year's State of Origin on 9 Now with some additional live streams. So this will be fun. So you can get Sparta Cam, player cams, coach cams on your phone or your mobile device while you've got the actual game on your TV in the background. We cannot wait for that. So head over to 9now.com.au or download the app. Good luck to New South Wales, and we'll catch you here again next week on Immortal Behaviour.